Hello folks, R1 here. This is an interesting match. I'm bringing it to you because it uniquely tested my determination and ability to innovate on the fly. It will start out normally enough. This is my very first match in the KB1 ZIS 5. I have no upgrades on this tank whatsoever. I was kind of impressed with it right off the bat. It's actually more nimble than I thought it would be. This is a realistic battle in ground forces, domination map, Poland, as a matter of fact. Which I'm really starting to like this map. It has some interesting gameplay potential. They've had some very interesting events on the Poland map lately. This is not one of them. This predates it just slightly, before the last patch even. And it's just a standard domination battle. It goes without saying, this first match is primarily intended on my part just to get the feel of the tank, a shakedown cruise if you will. I need to get a handle on how the gun performs at various ranges, how the tank handles, what its strengths and weaknesses are. And I'm going to end up finding out a little bit more than I bargained for. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't a match with an incredibly high final score. It's just unusual. At least as far as the lengths I had to go to survive and thrive in this match. Now these are my first long-range shots. I'm trying to get it sighted in, get a handle for the drop of its particular ammunition. And it's actually doing a pretty good job at range. Got a hit there, and he's ended up stopped dead in his tracks. I home in for the kill, and it's just a hair low. I'm going to give it one more shot a little bit higher, but I am a hair too slow and end up with a kill assist rather than a kill. That's okay. Unfortunately, I start taking damage. Now this tank can take it, and I knew it could take some hits. But I end up taking more damage than I bargained for in this particular exchange. Now my turret's messed up. I get my gunner conscious again, but I cannot bring the gun down so that I can return fire. This is going to prove to be a major handicap for the entirety of this match. Since I'm unable to effectively return fire, I try to keep their heads down, but I have to get out of the middle of this open field. So I'm going to make for cover, the cover of the town, just as quickly as I possibly can, and hope that I don't take too many hits in the meantime. Now, so far I noticed that the enemy has not pushed into the town. To me, this is the key of the whole map. Your lighter, faster tanks will head to the outlying caps, but whoever holds the center point usually wins the match. And that's why I brought this heavy tank here. Not only would I have had difficulty making it to one of the outer capture points, but had I gotten to one of them, I would have had to have probably just held on to it, because I probably would not have had time to get back to the central point to actively engage the enemy again. And even if I did manage to successfully defend that point, if the enemy held the northern point and the middle capture point, we would have still ended up losing. So I've gotten to the central capture point. There are shell craters here and there. I'm trying to judge if the enemy comes from the west down that road. If I can catch them at enough range, would my shell be able to get down on target, have enough drop to actually hit them? I'd have to catch them pretty far out for that strategy to work. And in my opinion, that's just not good enough. That's going to get me killed. So I ponder my options here. I've got some cover. There's incoming shelling. I've got some cover here. I just have to figure out how to use it. And then I notice, wait a minute. I've got a shell crater here. I can work with that if I can get the tank lined up in it properly. If I can't get the mechanics of the tank to actually work in my favor, maybe I can get the physics of the landscape to work in my favor instead. I know the enemy's going to be approaching this point sooner or later, and probably sooner. I'm anticipating that their main attack is going to come from the west, directly ahead of me, but I also understand that often when you make assumptions like that, it will turn around and bite you in the butt. So I'm trying to keep my options as open as possible and keep a wary eye out to my left as well. And it's a good thing that I did. I think he's as surprised to see me there as I am to see him, and I'm able to get a critical hit with my first shot. He starts to brew up, returns some fire, but he's not able to do any more significant damage than I've already taken. Now I've got a problem. I've got a second opponent in, and he's not being obliging enough to let me sit where I want to sit to get a good angle on him. I'm going to have to turn this very carefully and still try and manage to get a shot in around this blasted fountain. Fortunately, I don't think he realizes quite how screwed up my tank is right now. Now I don't even have horizontal capability. I'm having to angle the whole tank to get pointed in the right direction. I throw some shells in his general direction, but I'm having trouble connecting. I'm missing by just the merest fraction. We're about to win this match, but I really want to survive it. Get in one more shot here. Maybe. My reload is messed up. There we go. Critical hit. Alright, he's going to brew up if he doesn't put out that fire. If I can keep my gun on him, I may be able to make it through. Yes, I made it through alive. I know that's not a spectacular feat in War Thunder, but I was pretty stoked about it considering the condition that I was in through most of that match. And somehow, even though I got a lousy 1 kill and an assist, somehow I still ended up getting the top score. Not quite sure how that happened, but I'm not going to turn my nose up at it either. So yeah, sometimes it pays to do your best to adapt and overcome. And I'll leave you with that pearl of wisdom. Until I see you again, good hunting.